It's a golden celebration for several Shawnee Mission Elementary schools as Rosehill, Shawanoe, and Benninghoven mark 50 years of excellence in education. Another Shawnee Mission Elementary celebrates 150 years by taking students on a trip back in time. High school musicians present a new work created with them in mind. And an author encourages students to start dreaming big right now. It's all ahead on this episode of Spotlight on Shawnee Mission. Welcome to Spotlight on Shawnee Mission. I'm your host, Leanne Neal. 3 Shawnee Mission Elementary schools celebrate a big milestone this year, 50 years of educating students.
Hey, look this over and you will see we are the best that we could ever be.
So tonight we have our big 50th celebration. So we've been open for 50 years of excellence, and we wanted a big way to celebrate with the community and present people, alumni, staff. So we sent out an invitation to as many people as we could get a hold of and just open our doors and let them see everything that's developed in Rosehill in the past 50 years.
When I first started here, we just didn't have a lot of children that were from, outside of the United States that attended Rosehill. So, you learn so much from each other, and the children really share their backgrounds, things about their culture, and so it's been a real positive learning experience.
Part of this year's celebration includes a time capsule created by students.
Each grade got to make something to put into the time capsule, and 5th grade got to make pic collages about the school, and we're going to put that on a flash drive and put it in the time capsule.
I think it's really cool that they're making a time capsule just their school.
Great and all. I just love time capsules sometimes.
So this time we're not going to bury it because we had trouble last time. We're going to have the art class create a big capsule. And I think we'll keep it locked up in the principal's office and just kind of pass it on and make sure we keep track of where it's at so we can do something neat with it in the future.
Strothman says one thing that surprised him is getting emails from people he doesn't even know who graduated from Rosehill years ago and wanted to congratulate the school on turning 50.
That's my goal as a principal of the building is when kids leave these doors, we say it all the time, once a rocket, always a rocket.
And it doesn't take long for the Rosehill rocket spirit to sink in.
This is my first year, but I realized that this is an amazing school. I love this school. I think it's even better than my last one.
This school means a lot to me because I've been here for most of my grade school years, and I've had so much fun.
For these twins, the best part of the anniversary was when the students stood in the shape of a giant number 50 for a photo.
A drone flew up in the air and took a big picture of us, and it was really cool. And
When I look at the time capsule, I can definitely see like my class where it was, and I think she can see hers too.
Yeah, I can see mine too.
So what was Rosehill like when it opened?
The playground would have been very small, and I don't think they wouldn't have any kickball.
And where do today's students think they'll be 50 years from now?
In 50 years, I think I'm going to be in a retirement home.
I think I'm going to live in my own house because I'm 60. And
What about your husband?
my husband, he'll be dead by then.
At Shawanoe Elementary, the 50th celebration is actually a goodbye to one building and hello to another.
Tonight we're having just our general open house, but it is the last open house of Shawnee Elementary School, as we wanted to have our farewell to say to all of our students who are here, and also more to our patrons and former staff members. One last glimpse of this building.
It's kind of weird that everything looks the exact same as when I was here. A lot smaller though. It just brings back a lot of memories from when I was here.
In the library, guests could look at yearbooks from 1963 to the present.
It's great to see all the pictures, and yes, it brings back tons of memories.
It's a wonderful opportunity that we're going to get a new building. We desperately need it.
Educators who worked at Shawanoe say the staff made the job something special.
Walking through here brings back those memories, and getting to see some of our former students, that one of which is now teaching in Shawnee Mission. It just brings back a lot of warm memories. We had a lot of wonderful families and wonderful parents to work with, and we were just very, very close and remain so today.
Current and former staff members were invited to add their names to the new building.
We have 2 frames, signature frames, that we're going to get a picture of the old building, the present building, and the new building. And thank you to our staff of today and former staff members who made this a great building, and it's going to continue for another 55 years, hopefully.
The third elementary marking a golden anniversary is Ryan Benninghoven, and like Shawanoe, it too will soon be on the move.
It's a really exciting school year for us because not only are we celebrating our 50th year here at Benninghoven, but we are also getting ready to break ground on a brand new building.
Students and staff came up with plenty of ways to remember the past and to celebrate the present and the future.
We have an awesome movie from our students, and some of our teachers put together an iMovie for throughout the decades, and that's playing in the NPR tonight. And then in the gym we're doing selfie booths and having a great time, and then all throughout the school we have all of our student artwork everywhere. So the school looks great. This is always my favorite time of year because the school looks just wonderful.
Walking down the halls was like a trip through time, with classroom doors decorated for each of Benninghoven's decades. Students and staff also showed off their timely sense of style.
Well, we've been dressing up in costumes and stuff like that for over the years, how for Benninghoven, in the 90s and 60s and 80s and 70s.
Especially, I think the teachers are having a little bit more fun than the students because we've kind of lived through some of those decades. So I think we're having a little bit more fun going back in our past. It's been really exciting as we've been planning for this. And it's been a great opportunity to get all the kids involved. They've done a great job.
Even Ryan Benninghoven's family came to check things out and liked what they saw.
But when my dad died in September 1966, he was 64, so the school board decided to name the school, change the name to Ryan Benninghoven. Well, it's very nice.
Former staff members stopped by too.
This has been really refreshing and just brings back lots of good memories, just really a good feeling.
Some say it is bittersweet to say goodbye to this building where they love to teach.
In one way, yes, because of all the memories, but in another way, that new building is so beautiful that's kind of exciting.
It'll certainly open up some really unique state-of-the-art opportunities for these kids.
There's such a feeling of community in the school and with the parents, and the teachers are so supportive that it's not been about the space, it's been more about the kids and the teachers.
With drawings of the new building on display, students are already focused on the future.
We're really excited about the new building, and especially with the new technology and things like that. They're excited to see what our future will look like.
And what are students' predictions for 50 years into the future?
I think we'll have more technology and robots and stuff like that. I feel like the school would be a really small school and different than right now. I just don't know how to explain it.
I guess we'll see what the future holds. In the meantime, congratulations to Rosehill, Shawanoe, and Ryan Benninghoven Elementary Schools. Here's to your next 50 years of excellence in education. Up next, a teacher shares her love of reading with students and gets rewarded in the process.
Hi, my name is Joel, and I read the book Locomotive by Brian Floca. This book talked about trains. It showed and described people building the railroad. This book explained how the crew maintained the train. It talked about where a certain train went and stopped along its route. I won't tell you where the train ends up because you'll have to read it to find out. I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars for the beautiful watercolor illustrations, great vocabulary, and funny parts. Read it.
Welcome back. A big surprise turned into a big celebration at Corinth Elementary as a 5th grade teacher was honored as one of the best in the state.
We came into library and Mr. Lowe, our principal, let us down here, and then everybody told us our teacher was going to be receiving an award and she has no idea about it.
What a great day it is to be at Corinth Elementary School to honor a teacher, Miss Anna Terlouw. The purpose of the Read to Achieve Award is to recognize teachers like Miss Terlouw, who work so hard every day to help their students achieve, and who instill the love of reading, which is so important to students at all levels.
So, Mrs. Terlouw was nominated Reads to Achieve Award winner, and KCTV5 pairs with KNEA, and they nominate one teacher from Kansas and one teacher from Missouri. Mrs. Terlouw was nominated for this award from Mrs. Collins, a parent of a student, Spencer Collins, and when we were explaining to the students today how that process unfolded, his face lit up, Spencer's face lit up when he realized that it was because of his mother's nomination.
Well, she's so enthusiastic about reading. She's really nice, she's funny, and she makes school fun.
The purpose of the Read to Achieve Award is to recognize teachers like Miss Terlouw, who work so hard every day to help their students achieve, and who instill the love of reading, which is so important to students at all levels.
So I was really surprised that a parent recognized my passion for reading, my desire to teach them, to motivate them to succeed, and I was really honored that they took the time to think about me as a teacher.
On behalf of Kansas NEA, KCTV5, and most importantly your students, we want to say thank you for everything that you do. As a token of recognition, we'd like to present you with a check for $1,000.
Reading is a lifelong skill, and to have teachers like Mrs. Terlouw who have that true passion for reading and understand the importance of reading and knowledge, and our 5th graders love reading.
She was very worthy of this award. She's smart, funny, and she makes the lessons fun to do and learn.
The monetary aspect of it is really exciting to me because my first thought was, oh my gosh, half-price bookstore. So for me, the idea that I could actually maybe go on a book spending spree is pretty exciting. And then it also opens new doors for the students, so I'm pretty excited about that.
We just feel very blessed to have a great community, great school, and a great district that supports teachers being recognized for the amazing things that they do, because it's teachers who make things like this possible and a passion for reading.
Thank you, KCTV5!
Read to Achieve is sponsored by KCTV5 along with the Kansas and Missouri National Education Associations. Each year, Shawnee Mission Northwest choral and orchestral programs combine for a Masterworks concert. Usually, the musicians perform a classical piece by composers such as Bach, Beethoven, or Mozart. But this year, the composition was by someone much closer to home.
Today we had our first rehearsal, mass rehearsal of our Great Works project, our Shawnee Mission Northwest a cappella choir and chamber orchestra. It's something we work on every year. It's a great fortune that we get to work on this every year, and of course this year is especially fortunate. It was an original composition by my colleague, Dr. Jeffery Bishop.
I started a requiem when I was an undergrad, long time ago, in a galaxy much farther away. And I had sketches basically and put them together. And so what we ended up with was a 6-movement requiem. And it's called Requiem Foliorum Caducorum, which means Requiem for the Fallen Leaves.
It seems to be going really well, actually. We've never played with the choir before, so this is our first time getting to hear their part, and they get to hear our part for the first time. It's a really great thing.
It honestly makes me feel all of these different emotions, and each emotion I feel is like correlated with the piece. So each note that he wrote on the page is it's just beautifully written to reflect those emotions.
I orchestrated it for the kids that I knew that I would have an orchestra this year, and had a lot of input from Mr. Schwartz on the strengths of his choir kids and what we really wanted to accomplish with the piece and stuff like that.
I think it's one of the more difficult songs I've ever sang. It's very different from what we've done before, but that was probably week 1, week 2, but once we finally got into it, once we finally started understanding it, we really just started, it was just like everything started meshing together.
I love it because it pushed our kids vocally and theoretically in directions we haven't been with our traditional choral music.
We're all musicians, and to come together on one giant piece, but to hear their different type of music. They make music with instruments and they're so skilled, and then us with our voices, it's just amazing. I absolutely love it.
It's kind of weird because it's always like just the orchestra, and right now the orchestra is being an accompaniment to the choir, which is so strange because I play the violin, so we're usually like the main melody the entire time, and it's kind of weird being more of an accompaniment when you're not like center stage.
And I think today what you saw was this kind of a shock and awe kind of thing of, oh wow, this is what this is and this is what this can be. And so that's a lot of fun.
This is my first time actually working with the choir. It's very interesting to hear how both parts fit. Before, when we rehearsed it, it was like it was missing something. And then when we were rehearsing earlier, it added more to it. It became fulfilling.
You know, by the end of the 3-hour rehearsal today, those kids were really, really tired, but they sounded really, really good.
It's kind of cool actually, because not that many students get to be conducted by the composer of the piece that they're playing. So he will tell us when we didn't get it right or that's not what he meant, but he's really nice about it. So it's fun working with him and getting to you know, make it exactly what he wants.
Make sure that this is the part where it's like, no, really, this is the important part that you all need to remember in the audience. They need to know that. You need to telegraph that with your forehead, your eyes, and the shape of your mouth.
The idea that our kids can have this opportunity to perform such a large work, to perform vocal musicians and orchestral musicians together, and to work with different directors, 2 separate classrooms, and bring a project together. That's a huge experience for my vocal music students.
To be honest, I don't even know any other schools that do Great Works, so having this opportunity is indispensable. I really am counting my blessings for having such a fine musical opportunity.
And I like to remind everybody, no, what we do is educational. We are not an extra, we're not co-curricular, we are straight up curricular, and this is some of the most difficult stuff that these kids will do.
Shawnee Mission Northwest A Cappella Choir and Chamber Orchestra performed their Masterworks concert at Community Covenant Church in Lenexa. Coming up next, a former Jayhawk basketball player shares his game plan for life with elementary students. Plus, taking a trip through time, students experience what it was like to learn in a one-room schoolhouse when Spotlight on Shawnee Mission returns. does it take to achieve a dream? Students at Merriam Park Elementary got some ideas and inspiration from an author who made his dream of playing KU basketball come true.
Thank you guys so much for having me. So today we're going to talk about dreams, okay? So I want to preface this as, no matter if you're a Jayhawk fan, a Missouri fan, or a K-State fan, or even a boy or a girl, I want you to listen to what I'm talking about today, and I want you to imagine, like, maybe you guys have a dream that you're thinking about what you want to do when you get older, okay? So think about, we're going to learn some lessons. I'm going to tell you this story. We're going to learn some lessons about what dreams are made of, okay?
Author Scott Novosel is visiting Merriam Park today to talk to the students. He played for the KU Jayhawks in the 90s. He was a walk-on player for his senior year, and then also now he has wrote a graphic novel that talks about how he was a walk-on player for the Jayhawks.
I have found that there are 3 ingredients to make dreams come true. There are challenges, number 1. Number 2, positive attitude. Number 3, teamwork. And I feel like if you can reach kids at a young age, they can start thinking about their future. They can start thinking about becoming better every single day. And you know, Coach Williams used to tell us, you know, every day for practice, we want to walk out back through that tunnel and know that we became better that day. I want to reach out to kids and start learning about self-improvement and problem solving. And it can take you so far. So this is my true story. It's Fieldhouse. All right, so the book it's taken me 20 years to make. The main theme is challenges every day. Like, you got to challenge yourself in so many different ways, not just to become a better basketball player, but you got to bring out the best in everything that you do. And when you challenge yourself on things that you don't like doing, it makes everything way easier.
Kids need to hear the positive message that you can do it. Because yes, for him, he knew he wanted to be a Jayhawk basketball player when he was in elementary school. And here, we teach our students at Merriam Park, hard work, don't give up, you can achieve your dreams, it is reality. So his message being so positive is so beneficial to our students.
So I have a challenge for you guys tonight, okay? You have to eat at least 1 vegetable before you eat your dinner, 10 squats, and actually before you do that, whatever homework you have to do it before that. Deal? Is that a deal?
The growth mindset for our students here at Merriam Park, we want them to try the best they can, try their hardest, give it their all. So having Scott here talking about his book and his experiences with basketball and never giving up really go hand in hand. So we're very fortunate to have this opportunity, and the students so far have just loved it.
I think it was really fun to get to watch him do a speech because I really like basketball and I really like to sing and act and do lots of different things, and so now I know that I can pursue it, and if I never give up, then it will happen if I just keep trying.
He had a lot to say, and it was just really interesting, and it was really nice.
What you can conceive and believe, you can achieve. Kids soak in so many good things. Like, I put a lot of stuff in here, and I'm amazed by, no matter what age these guys are, they're really soaking it in. That makes me even more excited about everything.
Up next, living a bit of educational history as elementary students try out the one-room schoolhouse.
Hi, I'm Abby. I read the book Beholding Bee. Beholding Bee is an historical fiction that takes place in 1942. Bee's parents die when she's young, and Bee is given to Pauline, a hot dog cart runner of a carnival. Bee is looked and teased at every day because of a birthmark on her face, until one day when she finds Peabody, a dog with a stumpy tail. One day, Bee loses everything and decides to run away with Peabody and Cordella, a pig at the carnival. Bee finds a home, run by 2 women who only Bee and her animals can see. Will Bee find a real home? Will Bee be proud of who she is? Find out by reading Beholding Bee. I rate Beholding Bee 5 out of 5 stars because you can relate the story to real life situations. Check this book out at your library.
Welcome back. In 1866, just 5 short years after Kansas became a state, Prairie Elementary started educating students. That means this marks the school's 150th year, and to celebrate, the school decided to take students on a little trip back in time. The journey started in the gym, where students were mixed up and given new classroom assignments for the day.
This year we're celebrating the 150 years that Prairie has been open. And so our idea is to give the students an experience where they're able to visit a one-room schoolhouse.
Your one-room school teacher will take you back to the classroom.
Principal Murphin made sure each room included students in grades K through 6.
The kids have been real on board with it, excited. I think the biggest part they were excited about was being able to go in different classes and specifically being with their brothers and sisters because they all went to school together. So when I divided up all the classes, I made sure they have all the brothers and sisters together.
Most classes began the day talking about differences between school way back then versus today.
I learned that you have to have a fire in the middle of the classroom so that everyone would stay warm in the wintertime. And I also learned that there are 2 chalkboards in a room, one for K through 3rd and one for 4th through 6th.
In the 1800s, the teacher would have students recite things all together.
Esther DeVault started out by sharing with her students that the correct way to answer a question was to wait to be called upon, then stand behind their chair, answer, and sit back down.
They caught on to that immediately. I demonstrated what I wanted them to do, and I don't think anybody forgot to do it after that first demonstration. That was something I was real surprised about.
DeVault knows about one-room schoolhouses because that's where she attended her first few years of school.
And the one that I went to was in Cherryville, Kansas, and it served 4 families, 4 farm families. And so there were probably 15 kids in our school, and it ranged from 1st grade through 8th grade. And so 3 of my siblings were in the same room with me.
But one of the most fascinating aspects for today's students seemed to be what happened years ago when you did something wrong.
In the old days, like you can't turn your head. They would whack you, or you would have to clean the floor just for reading a word wrong.
It's hard because I'm always smiling and you're not allowed to smile in some classrooms. And you can't turn your head to talk to your friend or you'd get smacked with a ruler, which would hurt a lot.
7, 8.
But this day wasn't all about learning the rules. Students also got to try out some things kids of the 1800s did for fun.
The games that they played inside were like hide the thimble, which they just hide it in somewhere, but it has to be visible, and people try to look for it. And the other game is you put a clothespin right under your chin, and you try to drop it into a box.
This is what a lady would wear.
Williams says with her new mix of students, she got to see something special taking place.
It was pretty cool because the older kids took ownership of it and helped the little kids, so it was pretty fun.
Both students and teachers say they enjoyed the experiment, but wouldn't choose the old times over what they have now.
I think it'd be harder because you don't have iPads or technology to help you. And you have to write with a feather and ink instead of a pencil, so I'm not sure that you could erase it maybe.
It was a fun experience. I think it was fun for the kids and fun for the teachers. A lot of the students dressed up like pioneer kids, and a lot of the teachers dressed up like pioneer teachers too. So the job would have been a whole lot harder back then for different reasons than it's hard now. So I think I'll stick with modern time.
Looks like even after 150 years, Prairie Elementary's long tradition of educational excellence continues. Congratulations and keep up the great work. That's all the time we have for this episode of Spotlight on Shawnee Mission. Join us again as we continue to feature the programs and people of Shawnee Mission who are helping guide students to success. Thank you for watching.